Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. So, what brings you in today?
Okay, so um, 5 years ago, I gave birth to my son, and during my pregnancy, I gained a ton of weight. I ended up actually gaining around 60 pounds.
Okay.
Um, and I thought that was normal. Everyone gains weight when they're pregnant and the big belly and everything, but recently I ended up going back to work and my son's finally in school, so I was able to go back to work. And the weight's just not going away. I thought maybe as the years went by, I'd lose more and more and get back to that normal figure, but it's just not happening, and it's just really kind of bothering me.
Okay. All right. So, you've noticed this change in your body, and that seems to have really taken a toll on how you're feeling about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I just am feeling not like myself.
Okay.
Before I was pregnant, I was constantly exercising, always active, always outdoors and going for hikes, and just I took pride in taking care of myself, and I felt like I was doing a good job because I was exercising, and I had a gym membership, and I would go 5 days a week, and I loved it, and it was something that I looked forward to.
Okay. So, you had a lot of time spent actually exercising before.
Yeah, and the time's not being dedicated to exercising anymore. And part of that is my own fault. I know that, and that's due to just me not being motivated to go, I guess. But I also feel like I spend a lot of my time taking care of my family and taking care of my son, and it's as much as I want to start exercising again, I just don't want to take time away from taking care of my son as well.
Okay, so it sounds like there's this part of you that wants to be able to take care of your son, but there's this other part of you that kind of wants to improve your health and you want to start exercising again.
Yeah, I mean, 60 pounds is a lot to gain. I definitely feel it. I feel a difference in myself and in my body, and not only is it affecting me physically, but it's mentally affecting me as well.
Okay. So it's affecting you in many different areas. It's not just one. You see it all around.
Yeah, definitely. And I just feel, like I said, a piece is missing from me.
Okay.
It's not who it's not who I am. It's not who I want to be.
Okay. Do you mind telling me who would you like to be? Who is that person that you feel like is missing?
My old me. That's my ideal self. I was so happy and just satisfied in all aspects of my life. And it's not that I'm not happy now. It's just I could be happier.
Okay.
And the person that I want to be is the person that does go to the gym 5 days a week and takes the family for hikes and doesn't do those solo hikes anymore, but still doing hikes. And I want to be the person that's eating healthy and just I want that glow. I want people to kind of feel that energy from me.
Okay. So a couple things. You want to be able to have that routine back, like you said. In the past, you worked out 5 days a week, and you want to be able to do that again. But it also sounds like in the past it was kind of like a you thing, but now that you have a family, you want it to be like a family thing too to be able to do.
Yeah, the idea of that makes me smile and makes me happy.
Okay. So going back to routine, how do you think your routine now is different than your routine, let's say, 10 years ago?
So now that I have a son, my routine now, usually before I had my son, I would wake up and go to school or go to work, depending on my age. And when I was younger, after school, I would go automatically right after school to sports practice.
Okay.
And then after practice, would go home and do homework and all that. Now, before I had my son, now that I was older, it was wake up, go to work, after work, go right to the gym, after the gym, go home and cook a dinner, and that was it. So it was just always like I had that same structured routine like my whole life. But now that I have my son, it's different because I'll wake up and I'll get him ready for school and I'll bring him to school, and then from school I'll go to my work, and after work I don't have time to go to the gym because I have to go pick up my son from school, and then my husband doesn't get home until like 5:36ish, which is around dinner time. So I go home and take care of my son and prepare for dinner, and then by the time I'm done eating, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm tired of taking care of a 5-year-old all day. So it's very different, and it's hard to find that groove of what I had before.
Exactly. You've been out of it for some time now, it sounds like. So that's making it more challenging for you to get back into it.
Right. And I definitely think that I want to do it, and like I want to get back into that routine and have that like happiness again, but I definitely feel like since it's been 5 years since I've even stepped foot in a gym, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Okay. You're kind of feeling lost in a sense, like not only lost as to what to do, but like you said before, you feel like this piece of you is missing, so you feel like you've just lost a sense in yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Something's wrong. Something's missing. That's right.
Okay. So also, it sounded like you said in the past you were very active in sports. So, you had that routine going on for you, always going to sport practice after school, and then once you were done with high school, you still were exercising relatively frequently. But then it really sounds like it changed once you had the baby, and it kind of went from this drastic, working out a lot to not at all.
Right. Yeah, and it was a big change, a big adjustment because, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I lived at the gym. It was, like, my passion, and I don't feel like I have that something to look forward to anymore.
Okay.
Which sounds awful because I love coming home and I love taking care of my son. I do, but it's just, I'm missing that important piece of my life.
Yeah, and that's okay to feel that way. I mean, a lot of people, they have a family, but they still want to do something for themselves as well. So that's okay that you feel that way.
Yeah, I'm like learning to accept it.
Okay. So tell me some of the things that you don't like about your routine right now. Like, what else would you like to change?
Well, I think that just from working and taking care of my son and cooking dinner and cleaning, and it's just a lot of like responsibility on myself, so I get very stressed out.
Okay.
So I know that exercising was always a great release for that for me, and I don't have that outlet anymore. So I think that my routine doesn't allow for that stress to go anywhere. It just has to be kind of slowly released over time versus just getting it out and over with.
Okay. And it kind of sounds like the stress is building up too, in a sense. It's not being, since you're not getting that release quickly, it just kind of piles up and makes it harder for you to actually de-stress.
Yes, exactly. And stress isn't the only aspect. It's just my whole body image. I feel like disgusted with myself and disappointed. Just, I don't like where I am.
Okay. And you're looking at yourself as if you're not happy with who you are and kind of like questioning how, like, why am I this way and why can't I be how I used to be?
But at the same time, like, I don't see how I could ever like get back to that point as I was now. Like, it would take so long to get back to that physical shape that I was in.
Okay, so you're feeling like it's too hard for you right now.
Yeah, but I like want I want to get there.
Yeah. So that's good that there is that sense of drive in you too, that you do want to start that routine again. And then let's say you did start that routine of working out. How do you think that would look for you, and what kind of feelings do you think would come about?
Accomplished.
Mhm.
I would definitely feel accomplished and like satisfied because I know that it's so important to me. So like if I like got to that point again and like was able to look back at like where I was and like see the progression and like see the change in mood and stuff, I think that would be so beneficial and like give me the sense that I'm like looking for.
Yeah, it would make you feel like I can do this. Like I
Yeah.
know how to do this, and I can keep
And
doing
I
it.
did do it.
Exactly. So having that past experience can kind of help you when you're looking back realize, okay, like I can do this going forward.
Yeah, kind of exactly like in the process I'm building excuses why I can later on, if that makes sense. Like
Okay.
so like in the process I'm struggling and I like hate it and
Yes.
I'm miserable because I'm so overworked and overwhelmed. But later on in the future, when I get to that point that I want to be, I can look back and be like, look what you went through to get there.
Yeah. So just looking back at that really helps you.
Yeah.
And boost your self-esteem in a way, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I guess it's not necessarily the idea of working out that's like scaring me as much as it is like figuring out when I would do it.
Okay, so it's kind of like you can't really figure out where to fit this into your schedule right now.
Yeah, because I think that in the morning I'm exhausted from like the night before and I have to be up to get my son to school and it's just like the mornings are always a chaotic time.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So then I'm at work all day and I can't work out while I'm at work. And then after work I have to pick up my son. And so it's just like I just don't know how to incorporate going to the gym in there.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like you're really busy throughout the day, so it is hard for you to figure out that time.
Yeah, and it makes me feel guilty that like I can wiggle a space in my day and like prioritize my own wants as well.
Okay, you're feeling guilty about yourself too.
Yeah, like I just don't like my appearance. Like I don't feel good about letting myself get to this point and letting it go so long. Like I feel like if I had right after my pregnancy and right after I gave birth, like if I had jumped right back in then and automatically started figuring out ways to incorporate it, it would have been easier than now where I'm trying to somehow figure it out again.
And it sounds like you're trying to like make up for these past 5 years within like a short amount of time. It seems like you're putting that pressure on yourself to do it, to accomplish it sooner, or I guess notice those changes quicker than you would have if you were just doing it like progressively.
Yeah, definitely. If I had just been doing it all along, this probably would have been easier.
What do you think might be something that you are able to change in your routine?
Shared responsibility.
Okay.
I think like I know it'd be difficult because of like our work schedules, but like if one day my husband can pick up my son from school, so that I would be able to take those afternoons to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Or finding a daycare. Even if it's just for an hour or so I can go to the gym, so you can go there after school.
Okay, so just finding others that can share that responsibility too.
Yeah, because right now it's all on me.
Yeah, and that has to be very stressful.
Yeah, and that's what adds up to the stress, which makes me want to go to the gym even more.
So let me just ask, when you were exercising in the past, what kind of feelings did you feel?
Healthy. and just so genuine happy.
Yes.
Like, such happiness and pride in myself and confidence. Confidence is a huge thing.
Happiness, confidence.
Yeah, just an overall, like, good self-concept.
Yeah. So really just satisfied with who you were, and like you said, overall you were just really happy.
Yeah, I just feel like my exercise in the past had really, like, shined on all aspects of my life, because, like, if I was personally feeling well and, like, felt good about myself, then, like, I was more likely to be social and, like, more likely to want to accomplish other areas of my life, like with school. Like, for example, like, in order to do well in order to participate in sports, I had to do well in school. So it was like a motivation, and like it like paired back and forth with each other. So it just like really kind of influenced a lot of aspects of my life, and now I have to be the responsible person for changing all of those things without any kind of like solid reason to do so.
Okay, so you kind of feel like there's nothing like pushing you in a way. Okay. So what does with exercising, you said in the past it's made you feel very happy and very satisfied. So if you were to start getting back into that routine of exercising, how do you think, what do you think the results would be of that?
I would be more motivated at work.
Okay.
Like, I'm working back at my bank now, and I wouldn't feel like hatred for people that come in that are, you can tell they come in like in their workout clothes, and this is just a stop on their errands, and they're just go, and that I used to be that, and I want to get back to that, or so it would improve my attitude at work, and it would improve other aspects as well, because if I don't feel good about myself, that's going to shine through for everyone else as well. Like, I want people to, like I said earlier, like, people can like see that flow, that like positivity. You feel like you're right now, you don't think that you're giving off that impression to people. You kind of feel like you're more negative than you used to be. Exactly. And I also know that kind of like switching gears a little bit, like my diet, I know that has a huge factor in my weight gain as well, because when you're younger and in high school and active, and you don't have to worry about what you're eating as much, but now I'm 35 years old and I can't eat the same way, and it's catching up to me, along with the lack of exercise, along with the pregnancy itself. So I know that like the stomach's meat in the kitchen, and I just don't. But I've never had to worry about it. Eat healthy, so I don't know where to even start with that. Okay. Well, why don't we talk about that a little bit? What, like you said, it's hard for you to really know how to start this new diet or anything, like what you can change to improve your body image. What are some things you know about dieting? I know the food groups. And I know that processed food isn't good for you. Okay. But as far as like, that's pretty much the extent of what I know, and I know obviously eat your fruits and veggies and like things like that, but when it comes to like preparing meals, you know, I don't know anything about it. Okay. When it comes to healthy things, like I'm a quick, easy kind of, I have a 5-year-old son, and I have a husband that wants to come home to cook dinner, and it's like hard to, because I've never had to do it before, I don't know where to start. Okay, yeah, you're kind of feeling lost in a sense. Right, like I don't know, is there like, I know like butter is something that like you, like I used to like prep the pan with, but butter's not good for you, so like what do I do to, do you know what I mean? Like all those like little things that you don't even think about that probably are contributing to everything.
Yeah, like you said, you're not thinking about how is this impacting my diet, so it makes it more difficult to really know what's working for
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know alternatives.
you. Okay. Okay. Um, so do you mind if I give you some information about dieting and how it affects your mood, not only just your body, but also your mood?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so a lot of the times, if we're on an unhealthy diet, our mood is going to change. We're not going to feel as energized or as active. We're probably going to feel more tired as well. So, and it sounds like you're very stressed out, which makes it hard for you to kind of find that energy too to push you to go to the gym as well. So usually if we increase the healthy foods in our diet, we'll get that energy back. So you will get that energy to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
It makes sense in that way. It's kind of benefiting both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's influencing my eating habits, but also influencing my physical habits as well because I won't feel that like heavy feeling to go to the gym.
Yeah, you'll feel like you're able to in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's say we jump let's say I have a magic wand. I wave this wand and we jump a year ahead of us.
Okay.
What ideally would you like your life to look like right then?
Okay. I definitely would at least like to have lost like half of the weight. Ideally, I think that's pretty reasonable. I would be back in the gym at least a few times a week, maybe not the full 5, because again, I'm trying to be like pretty realistic. But I would definitely be going back to the gym a couple times a week. I would have a majority of my meals be pretty well balanced with a few occasional like pizza nights and things like that. But I would just be back to that normal self.
Okay.
That person I was before I was pregnant.
Okay. So you'd want a more balanced diet as well as a more balanced routine too, where you're able to take care of your family, but also be able to take care of yourself too by exercising.
I just want a new routine.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
I could tell. Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being most likely, how likely do you think you are to start this change?
Probably a 6, honestly.
Okay. And why a 6 and not a 5?
Because I really want to. I am so ready to do this.
I could tell.
But it's just being realistic.
Okay.
And if I could have everything go my way, it'd be a 10. But I know that there are things that are going to get in the way with, like I said, picking up my son from school. Who's going to do that? Or with the diet, like healthy things are expensive, and so there's definitely a want to be there. I just don't know how realistic it is.
Okay. So just looking at the realistic side for you is what's making it.
Yeah, I could sit here and tell you all these things that I want to happen in an ideal world with your magic wand. Yeah. But is it really going to happen? I want it to.
Right. So what do you think would be a doable and a realistic first step for you to start this change?
Well, my husband is home on weekends.
Okay.
So maybe finding a gym that's open on weekends and at least going on like a Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So at least it's a couple of times a week where I am getting my exercise routine in. Obviously, it's not ideal because I like my weekends off as well.
Right.
But I think that right now that would be the most like feasible way to incorporate and like at least build my confidence back and going back to the gym.
Okay, so having these Saturdays and Sundays maybe for you, maybe that will help you start getting back into the routine of things.
Yeah, and I'm hoping if like that was something I decided to do, maybe like my husband or like my friends or my parents would see like this is something that I'm working towards and like would want to help.
Okay. So having that support too.
Especially like with my son, like wanting to reach out and be like, oh, like I can watch him for an hour and a half, and something like that.
Okay. So with changing, it is ultimately your decision. You can change. You don't have to change. It's really up to you. But it does sound like you do really want to change. So maybe for next week, if you decide to do any of these little steps, like asking your husband, you can come back and let me know how that went.
Yeah.
If not, that's fine too. But we'll meet again next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.